All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again. My name is Jen Seeley, and I'm the coordinator of admissions, recruitment, and outreach at Frederick Community College. On behalf of FCC, I welcome you to today's event. We have a great program set up for you where you're going to hear from a couple representatives across campus and some current FCC students. Feel free to use the chat throughout the entire event. We have a staff member who will be looking at that and answering your questions. And before we begin, if I can have our two student representatives, Michael and Christina, to pop back on camera. Christina is a second-year student and Michael is a first-year student. They're going to be talking about their experience at FCC. So to start things off, I'm going to have them introduce themselves and tell us why they chose to attend FCC. So Christina, if you want to go ahead first, that'd be great.
Hi everyone, my name is Christina and I am a second year student at FCC. I am majoring in pre-health and I plan to transfer in the fall to Towson University. I mainly chose to go to FCC because it's close to where I live, so I was able to figure out what I wanted to fully major in first while being able to stay home and be around like my family and friends and fully decide what I wanted to major in, which was pre-health for nursing.
Thanks, Christina. And what high school did you attend?
I went to Walkersville High School.
Great. Hi, Michael. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. My name is Michael, and I'm a first year at FCC, and right now I'm majoring in engineering. The reason I chose FCC is convenient for me. It's like 10 minutes from here, and also because I'm first year, COVID hit, and I didn't want to pay like triple the price to go somewhere foreign. Classes are smaller.
We're kind of losing you, Michael. You're going in and out on your microphone.
Oh,
there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, I chose FCC because it's convenient and it's really close to my house, and also it's really cost effective. I get to save way more before I transfer after my second year to University of Maryland to continue my engineering pathway. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you both so much again for being here. And we are going to be hearing from them at the end of the program. So start thinking about some questions that you may want to ask some current students. All right, I am going to begin by sharing my screen. Okay, let me just adjust things here. Okay. All right, so let's start out by talking about our course formats for the summer and fall. We'll be getting a lot of questions of what that's going to look like. FCC is working to increase the number of in-person or on-campus classes while complying and following the guidelines for public safety and safety standards. So FCC is going to continue to offer courses in 3 formats. Those include online, structured remote, and hybrid remote. The online, which you're familiar with, is entirely online. It's virtual. There's no set class times, and you just complete the work at your own pace as long as you're meeting your course deadlines and expectations that's set at the beginning of the class. Structured remote is fully online, but it includes real-time interaction with your peers and faculty at least once a week during scheduled class times. And then our hybrid remote is fully online, or the hybrid remote is a mixture of on-campus instruction and virtual participation. So a mix of coming to campus and being online. The classes will meet at least once a week on campus, depending on the size of your class. So if you have a larger class signed up for your course, you may only be meeting on campus once every other week just because of social distancing and the number of students that can be in a classroom at a time. And your professor will establish the attendance schedules and expectations at the start of the class. FCC plans on offering more of these hybrid remote courses this fall to get you back on campus. All right, there's something for everybody at FCC. You can be a dual enrollment student and take classes while you're still in high school. You can be a full-time student completing an associate's degree at FCC. You can also be a visiting student if you decide to attend a four-year school after you graduate high school. You can come to FCC over the summer when you're home and take a class or two and have those credits transferred to your four-year school. Depending on what your academic and career goals are, will depend on what's the best path for you. We offer short-term training or continuing education programs. So these are about 6 months to a year, depending on your full-time or part-time status. These continuing education programs do not have an academic credit weight to them. So if your goal is to transfer to a four-year school, you most likely will not be pursuing the short-term training. These are more industry and career based, so a fast track for you to get the knowledge and skill set you need to complete that program and then enter the workforce right away. Then we also have certificates, which do have academic credit weight to them, so they will transfer to 4 years. Those are about 30 credits or a little bit more depending on your program, and usually students complete in a year as a full-time student. Then we have most commonly what students think of as the associate's degree, and that's 60 credits or 2 years as a full-time student. We like to use the phrase 15 to finish. So just think about 15 credits each semester. So that would be 30 credits each year. So for 2 years, you'll get your 60 credits to get your associate's degree. Now I wanted to talk about dual enrollment real quick because we had some questions in the registration about DE. Again, dual enrollment is when you can take college level courses through FCC and your high school classes at the same time. So you're earning towards your high school diploma and you're getting college credit for it at the same time at a reduced rate. So there is a tuition discount for DE students. And you definitely want to make sure that you're working with your high school counselor throughout this process. They know the course offerings and can help you choose what courses to take in order to make sure you are completing your high school diploma requirements. In order to enroll in DE classes, you must have an unweighted cumulative GPA of at least a 2.0 or higher and be college level ready. So this refers to your math and English level, and you may have to take an AccuPlacer to see if you place into those college level courses. So on the dual enrollment website that I've listed on the bottom here, we'll make sure we put that in the chat for you. They do a really great job of explaining the different areas of DE and what your options are. So real quick, high school based, this is when you take FCC courses at your actual high school. Please keep in mind, these are college level courses. So the grade that you get for these classes, these high school based DE classes, will go towards your college GPA, whether or not you attend FCC or not after high school. Open campus is when you take FCC courses either at FCC or online. So it will just depend on what course format you select for your class. But those are FCC courses. Career pathways is when you take FCC courses to get a specific track for like industry certifications and career options. So some of our healthcare career like CNA or GNA and HCTI, Hospitality, Culinary, and Tourism Institutes have some of these career pathways to them. And then early college is our newest DE program. It's when you earn your associate's degree from FCC and your high school diploma at the same time. So you actually attend FCC as a full-time student your junior and senior year of high school. This is a competitive program and there is an application process that sophomores will go through to see if they can be one of the spots for the early college program. Again, check the DE website if you need some more information on anything. They do a really good job of updating that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about our programs and how to navigate our website. I just want to touch that we have over 85 different academic programs. Some of our most popular probably include our healthcare majors like nursing, business administration, our STEM field majors like cybersecurity, and general studies is also popular for students who may not be sure what they want to study. I mentioned earlier CE, continuing education. We have continuing education workforce development or CEWD offerings. Those are at the Monroe Center, which is 15 minutes from main campus near the Frederick Fairgrounds. Again, those are kind of fast track career-based programs that you can take. But on our website, if you go to this link that's here, the programs, and we'll put that in the chat for you, we have all of our programs listed out, credit and continuing education. When you are navigating and clicking on our different majors or programs, you can see curriculum pathways, which is a breakdown of each major and what classes you're going to take. So this is a really good tool that you'll be using with your advisor. And now as a prospective student, you can kind of toggle through and see all of the different programs we offer and see like what classes you would have to take to complete that degree. And I'm sure our CAPS representative will talk a little bit more about the curriculum pathways, but I wanted to mention it because it's important. All right, in a bit, you're going to hear from our CAPS office, which is Career and Academic Planning Services, and also our Multicultural Student Services option. So I wanted to highlight some other support areas on campus. We have our Learning Commons, which is made up of our Tutoring and Writing Center. So this is free tutoring for all students, and a Writing Center so you can submit papers. Same with the STEM Learning Center, it's free tutoring for STEM courses. We have our Disability Access Services Department. So they support and assist students with disabilities. They come up with a student success plan or an accommodation plan. And some of these accommodations could include services in the classroom like a note taker, use of a recorder, sign language interpreter, or testing accommodations, whether you need more time or a different space outside of the classroom, things like that. Students must self-identify by contacting the DAS office, and then they'll set up an intake that involves submitting disability documentation from a qualified medical professional. And then you meet with a DAS counselor to determine the eligibility and what services can be offered to that student. So we'll make sure that we put the DAS or Disability Access Services contact information in the chat for you. So if that's something that interests you, especially students enrolling this summer or fall, definitely reach out to them. FCC also offers a comprehensive program of ESL courses for those who wish to improve their English language skills. And those range from basic ESL to academic ESL. And then we also have an honors college for students who'd be interested in that. There is an application to it. You can receive scholarships from it. But in order to graduate with honors from FCC, you need to complete at least 12 honors credits or about 4 honors classes and have a 3.25 or higher GPA. All right, this chart will show you the annual cost for a full-time in-county student taking 30 credits per year. Again, we talked about that 15 to finish for an associate's degree, so taking 30 credits a year as a full-time student. The bar in green is what you would be paying. You can see the comparison to a 4-year public college in Maryland and then a 4-year private college. And those numbers do not include room and board either. Our tuition and fees are less than half of what they are at 4-year public colleges in Maryland. So FCC is definitely a smart investment. Our student ambassadors who were on here at the beginning and introduced themselves talked about the affordability of attending FCC. Our students definitely graduate with little or no college debt and still get a quality education. So then how do you pay for college? Here are some options. We have lots of scholarship opportunities. Our foundation scholarships are open for students who will be enrolling this summer and fall. The deadline for those close on April 15th, so I encourage you to start applying for those scholarships now. We'll make sure that we link the foundation scholarship website in the chat for you. Then if you're going to be pursuing any non-credit or CE programs, we have a workforce development sequence scholarship. Anyone doing building trades, there's a specific scholarship. Incoming STEM students with financial need can do STEM scholars. There's so many other scholarships out there, and you'll hear about some of those later on as well. Payment plans are available at FCC through the Student Accounts Office. It's something that you can enroll in, and then your payment is automatically deducted each month. And those can be available for both fall and spring terms. All right, so for me to quickly wrap things up, here are the enrollment steps. Some of you may have already begun these or halfway through them or complete. That's great. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. The first thing that you'll do is apply to the college, frederick.edu/apply. DE students, you must reapply. 2 reasons for this: in order to be eligible for financial aid and also to declare a major. Then you're going to want to apply for financial aid or fill out the FAFSA and start looking for scholarships. Then all students, you will get your welcome letter after your application is processed, and it will have your instructions on how to log in to your student accounts, reset your password. It has your student ID number and all of those important things. You want to make sure you reset your password early because that's how you get into some student accounts, which includes our new virtual orientation, Go To Orientation, which I know Alyssa will touch on that as well. Then you can start taking placement tests at this time as well, or sending exemptions. And then once you complete placement testing or send in your exemptions, you will meet virtually with an advisor. All new students to college are going to go through ROAR, which stands for Required Orientation, Advising, and Registration. And then during that advising appointment with your assigned advisor, they'll show you your class schedule, how to pick out classes, how to register for through PeopleSoft, and see your financial aid and your bill and all of that stuff. So finally, here's just contact information if you want to take a picture of this on how to contact the admissions office or myself at any point. Tonight, also, we're having a virtual Monroe Center open house. So if you're interested in any of those continuing education or short-term training programs, it might be good of you to attend that event tonight at 6. And you can register at frederick.edu/open house. All right, so let me stop sharing my screen here. Okay, and next up, I'll check the chat box if any questions had came in as well. But next up, I want to move on so we have enough time, is Alyssa Hart, who's an academic advisor, and she represents the CAPS office, which stands for Career and Academic Planning Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Jen, for the introduction. My name is Alyssa Hart. I'm an academic advisor in the CAPS office. We newly renamed our office. So we used to be called Counseling and Advising. So just in case any of you had been in touch with someone from our office, prior to this month, we were Counseling and Advising. We recently just were renamed. So I'm going to share my screen with you here, and I'm going to show a few items. Jen did a great job at walking you through some of your initial steps and how to get to an academic advisor. Especially as a new to college student. And again, even if you took dual enrolled courses, you will need to reapply to FCC so that we can see what major you're hoping to pursue and accomplish during your time with us at FCC. The ROAR orientation piece that Jen was referring to, you can find it in the search bar on FCC's homepage. You can also find it embedded into the various enrollment steps that admissions has laid out as well. But here is our website for onboarding new to college, new degree seeking students to college. As Jen already discussed, you'll make sure that you go through these initial steps. I do want to point out that you need to reapply for admissions, like I just mentioned. You'll want to make sure that you can log into all of your student accounts. We do have a new online orientation. This new online orientation does require that you log in using your FCC student account information, but this new online orientation is a great opportunity for you and your support system to really view what it means to come to FCC as a college student. And it points you in the direction and goes over the variety of resources that are available on campus, how to utilize those resources, how to find them on our website, as well as how you can prepare academically for your courses at FCC. So you want to make sure that you complete that orientation. If you need to take placement tests, you're going to make sure that you complete that. And if you have placement testing exemption questions, that information is laid out on that website. This website, if you expand this section, and you'll want to make sure that you've submitted those documents to FCC. If you have questions about your FCPS transcript getting to FCC, I would suggest that you first reach out to your high school counselor and make sure that they have electronically submitted those. I believe they automatically go to FCC. Jen can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. So part of our CAPS office, the name stands for Career and Academic Planning Services. So we not only help students in their academic planning, but we do have services available for students that maybe aren't really sure what direction they ultimately want to go, or they know they want to go to college, but they're not sure what kind of career they'd want or what to study in order to reach those career goals. So we do have a variety of different services available to students, from exploring different majors. Like our student representative said, sometimes it's a matter of signing up for a particular class in a subject area and seeing how you feel about that. If that's something that is a good fit for you. Maybe you always thought you wanted to be a biology major, but you take a biology course and you don't like it, but you want to flesh out if that's a good fit for you. We do offer career advising appointments. Okay. The last step in this ROAR process is going to be scheduling a ROAR advising appointment. I do want to mention, and I know you're going to hear from some of these support offices as well today, but I do want to mention and point out, again, our career and advising office, old name is here, so we're working on getting that changed. But I do want to point out that the CAPS office is one of many of the advising offices on campus. You may find that you resonate with a different office on campus, and you can schedule your ROAR appointment with that particular office. Our office here, you'll schedule your ROAR appointment with an academic advisor after you've completed all the above steps. And that academic advisor will meet with you through Zoom. And they will go through something that's called your degree plan in PeopleSoft. And I know that a lot of times questions exist as far as what classes do I need. PeopleSoft is an academic tool that you would need to take to graduate with that degree. And I am going to, are you guys hearing me okay, Jen? I know that my internet connection, I just got a notification that it wasn't working so well.
Yeah, you went in and out like a little.
So with
you.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. So in your PeopleSoft account, you have something that's called a degree plan. The advisor will send you directions on how to utilize that. But we also, as advisors, use something that's called your pathway, and Jen had mentioned that. For example, if we click on here, every major at FCC has something that is called a degree plan or a pathway. And this pathway is going to help you identify, if you want to do 15 to finish, what type of courses you would need to take in order to accomplish earning your associate's degree in 2 years. There's also ways to identify, if you wanted to be a part-time student, how to accomplish that goal still as well. Okay, and your academic advisor during your ROAR appointment will go through all of those details with you and ask you questions about if you plan to be a full-time student or a part-time student, you know, what your other commitments are during your time at FCC. I also wanted to point out that advisors in the CAPS office, you can find our website by going to resources, and you're going to navigate here down to, oh, I missed it, sorry. Am I missing it here? It used to be underneath here. Here we go. And so you're in the CAPS office, the academic advisors, last year we recently moved to assigned advisors in major areas of study. And so when you are making your ROAR appointment, if you can make your ROAR appointment with your quote unquote assigned advisor meaning in the advisor assigned to the area of study that you're pursuing, that's the ideal situation, but we also understand that everyone's calendar books up slightly differently for appointments. All of our advisors on staff are cross-trained and can definitely meet your needs for your ROAR appointment. So if your eligibility does not match your assigned advisor's eligibility, that's okay. You can select a different advisor. Just maybe make a note in your booking that you needed a sooner availability than your assigned advisor. But here is our CAPS website. You can see ROAR is indicated here. And these are the variety of services that we offer: academic advising, our career services. Academic advisors can also discuss with you your transfer plans. And there are some stipulations if you are planning to be an athlete during your time at FCC. There are some stipulations that we want to make sure that you're meeting that criteria as far as the number of credits that you are receiving. And there is support for dual enrollment. So if we take a look at the academic advising piece, you can see that we have some guided tools and terminology listed on our website. It's also identified in that online orientation that you'll do as part of ROAR. And then if you come down here, you can see that you can schedule an appointment. So again, you're going to want to make sure that you schedule a ROAR appointment first with hopefully with your assigned advisor. But you can see the different topic areas and the major areas that advisors advise on. These are the majors that FCC offers. Okay. And for example, you can see for public safety, we have the information about the assigned advisor. You would click on schedule an appointment. And then you can identify in here that you are a ROAR student, and then it would show that individual advisor's availability. Okay. I'm just going to go through to make sure I hit all the points here. To answer a question potentially about how often you should meet with your academic advisor, whether that's in the CAPS office or one of the TSO offices, I would suggest, especially having that initial ROAR appointment will be crucial for you to kind of get on the right path. And then you should check in with that advisor at least once a semester. So now we're starting to do enrollment for summer and the fall. And then let's say the end of September, October, you would want to start doing your planning for the spring semester. Academic advisors now are going to also follow up with students that maybe their faculty have indicated they're struggling. And this way we can just help to ensure that we're supporting students. Just in the sense of transferring, again, if you are planning to attend FCC and then transfer on to a four-year college or maybe another institution that has a more specific area of study, just be sure that you do bring that up in your ROAR appointment with the advisor so that they can ensure that the courses that they're advising you to take can also help you in your transfer plans as well. All right, and I'll keep my eye out on the chat if anybody has any questions.
Great, Lissa, I have one quick question that came into the chat to me. A student asked, if you're a dual enrollment student, do you have to make a ROAR advising appointment? So I just wanted to put that out to the group. So in case there are other DE students, we could just answer it for everybody.
That's a great question. So if you are currently still in high school and you're going to still be in high school in the fall, right? So you will continue to be a dual enrolled student. You do not need to make a ROAR appointment. That online orientation that I was showing you, if I can find it again, that online orientation would be very helpful for you to go through because it just connects you and gives you an overview of what it means to be taking college level courses. So I would say you can definitely complete this orientation piece, but you do not need to make a ROAR appointment until you're fully ready to come to FCC as a degree seeking student. Our academic advisors can definitely help you as a dual enrolled student after you've checked with your high school counselor on what courses they are going to need you to complete for any high school requirements, because our academic advisors do not know or are not familiar with the FCPS graduation requirements.
Great, thanks, Alyssa. And again, if anyone has any questions for Alyssa regarding the CAPS department, classes, programs, advising appointments, please put your questions in the chat now, and she's going to hang around and answer some questions. Okay, so our next presenter, we will move on now. We have Shianti Blackman, who is the Director of Multicultural Student Services, and she's going to be talking about all things MSS and specifically also the PASS program offered through their department. So thanks, Shianti.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miss Shianti Blackman. I use the she series, she, her, hers, and I do serve as Director of Multicultural Student Services here at FCC. Multicultural Student Services is one of the targeted support offices. So we do offer academic advising, academic counseling, personal advising, as well as a myriad of programs available to you, such as our Big Six or Elite Eight programs, which I'm going to share my screen so you can see a little bit about that. And I appreciate admissions. You all are on it. I see that I had the abilities, and I am grateful. So this is the page for the Office of Multicultural Student Services. And Multicultural Student Services, or MSS, we provide comprehensive support programs that specifically consist of academic planning, counseling, mentoring, leadership development, and dynamic cross-cultural experiences. And we really try to support you in your transition to college, as well as on your journey to complete your degree or certificate. We offer additional support to students who sometimes come up with some academic challenges. As we all know, sometimes time gets away from us and we get a little behind, and so we need some additional support. Or if you're having some difficulty adjusting to the college environment. And our advisors and workshops and activities provide something beneficial to all students. So here are 3 of the programs in the scholarship that we offer in our office. First is our Big Six program, which we are actually renaming. It's going to be our Men of Excellence program. And it is designed to address the support and needs of men of color at FCC. There are weekly and bi-weekly workshops and activities that focus on 6 values, which are academic excellence, civic responsibility, self-awareness, leadership, endurance, and hope. And it's really, again, to support you all while you're here at FCC. We then have Elite Eight, which will be our Women of Distinction program. And our Women of Distinction, newly named, will be designed to address and support the needs of women of color at FCC. And it really is to create a space of sisterhood of women of various backgrounds and to foster a positive environment as you seek to define your identity. And this is an opportunity to create and strengthen connections for women. And then we focus on 8 principles, which are academic excellence, positive self-image, perseverance, sisterhood, confidence, community service, leadership, and healthy relationships. Then we have our PASS program, or our Partnership to Achieving Student Success. So the Partnership to Achieving Student Success is actually a year-long program and is designed for first-year students that are coming in. It offers 4 distinct components. So we have a Summer Bridge Academy, College Success Workshops, a Winter Bridge Academy, and academic advising and support. The Summer Bridge Academy will take place July 26th through August 13th. So it is 3 weeks. And it is open to all students and have intended to foster, again, academic success. So if you have taken the AccuPlacer and placed into 1 or more supportive college or readiness courses, or if you're like, you know what, I'm stressing out about coming to college and I feel like I want to get a little bit of a jump start to my transition into college. If you would like additional support and mentorship, you would want to consider the PASS program. Again, it begins July 26th through August 13th. All sessions are between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. via Zoom. The sessions are mandatory, but they are wonderful. So you would not only be meeting and doing workshops with our fabulous STEM and Learning Center facilitators, but also you will get a chance to work with faculty in our English and math departments also. And again, all sessions will be conducted via Zoom. And then we end the Summer Bridge Academy with a dynamic completion ceremony. The weeks of July 22nd and July 22nd and 24th is our orientation into PASS. That includes a technology orientation, which allows you an opportunity to get, I think, a little bit more hands-on experience navigating PeopleSoft, Blackboard, just to make sure that you feel like you are prepared to start the Summer Bridge Academy. And then the 3 weeks again are July 26th through the 30th, August 2nd through the 6th, and then July 9th through the 13th. You can apply here and also apply on our webpage as well. And then lastly, I just wanted to share some of the testimonials that students have shared. PASS is in its 11th year now. And so we have been doing this for some time. So as you can see, PASS has been extremely useful as I transitioned to college, especially during this complicated period. I was able to gain familiarity with some of the programs used at FCC, such as Blackboard and PeopleSoft, allowing me to be ahead of my peers when the semester started. I was also able to make connections with other people with multicultural backgrounds like myself, easing my transition into Frederick as I moved from one country to another during the pandemic. The staff is very supportive, proving to be one of the reasons why members of the PASS program have been successful in college classes. So we had a student who actually moved from Mexico to the US during the pandemic and participated during PASS. Also, we have PASS has been a wonderful program. It's helped me with understanding the college process, how to talk with professors, work on assignments efficiently, and meet new people. The program is not only during the summer, but runs during the winter and spring. And I find that's useful as we could catch up on how things have been and work on career readiness or provide workshops to help us with future classes or after college life. PASS has truly been a program that brings people together despite differences with one thing in common. College is new for many of us, and not knowing how it would be going through it with others instead of alone. Another student noted, when we were on campus, I do have candy in my office, and that is something students enjoyed. So just take a minute if you're interested. And then lastly, I do want to share just a video from some of our students who talk about their experience in multicultural student services as a whole.
As college students, we forget about our self-care and we forget about who we are, and it can be overwhelming, but it's good to have that sense of belonging in a space where people are kind to you and people are willing to talk to you and be your friend, and just to have that sense of belonging is really good. It's important for me to have that sense of community because I've recently been looking for mentors and looking for friends, and whenever I came in and I felt like scared, I was around people that were always there for me, and it's just a good experience to be able to come in and be with people like you and that aren't like you, and be able to learn a lot from them and the people around you.
So I do want to take just a moment also to walk you through how to find Multicultural Student Services. So you will go to, there we go, FCC, and then resources, scroll down, and there are all these fabulous resources here. Click Multicultural Student Services here. And here you'll find, again, information about our programs and how you can apply to the PASS program. The application deadline is July 19th. So once you have been admitted to FCC and you've taken the active placer, you can do that. And then lastly, also, I do want to share, if you scroll down, this is where you can schedule appointments to meet with myself or Mr. Eugene, who is my assistant director. We also offer war appointments for students. So if you're interested in multicultural student services serving as your academic advisors, we can do that regardless if you're in PASS or not. And so you would sign up for your war appointment here or an advising appointment here, or if you need check-in during the semester and need some support there. And then lastly, if I may, Jen, I want to play the full video, and then I can close out for questions. Let's find this.
I feel like it's important to not be ashamed of where you came from or who you are. Being an immigrant, like coming here at a young age, I definitely struggled with learning English, like a whole new language, a whole new culture. Education is definitely very important in my family, so I feel like MSS has made me feel more comfortable, more like sure of like that I'm doing something right, and that like I'm always gonna have someone that's gonna help me and guide me through whatever question I may have or through whatever struggle I may be going through. Like just the energy when you go in there, it's very welcoming. I just feel very like sure and safe. As college students, we forget about our self-care and we forget about who we are, and it can be overwhelming, but it's good to have that sense of belonging in a space where people are kind to you and people are willing to talk to you and be your friend, and just to have that sense of belonging is really good. It's important for me to have that sense of community because I've recently been looking for mentors and looking for friends. And whenever I came in and I felt like scared, I was around people that were always there for me. And it's just a good experience to be able to come in and be with people like you and that aren't like you and be able to learn a lot from them and the people around you.
As someone who is an immigrant and a part of LGBT member, knowing that there's someone at the back of you, it gives you more confidence being around school, knowing that you have that support that don't judge you. Like it makes me more motivated to be in school, like to maintain my GPAs, knowing that someone believes in you and that you can do it even though you doubt yourself. That's pretty much where I got the confidence of like just be who you are, like no one's gonna judge you here.
Thank you so much. I'm going to post the link to this marketing here also, in the chat box. If you are interested and would like to apply, we would welcome to have you part of the MSS family. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll be around for questions.
Thanks, Shianti. Do you want to quick touch on the scholarship component to the PASS program? Unless I missed you saying that earlier.
True story. Nope, you're completely correct. I don't know how I missed over that. That's like the largest component. So if you do apply to the PASS program after you interview, there is a scholarship offered a part of the PASS program. So it is a scholarship after you complete the summer bridge component. You get a $300 scholarship. If you complete all of the requirements in the fall, so that's the meeting with career services and some of the workshops in your one-on-ones, we offer you another scholarship for the spring. And then at the end of your first year in college, as long as you are in good academic standing and you have met all your requirements for that previous semester, we give you another $500 scholarship for your next fall semester. So just kind of throwing coins a little bit at you. But again, as you know, we understand that the transition to college can be challenging, and especially now being in a whole pandemic, it is important that we are looking to support you in a multitude of ways. And that is what the Office of Multicultural Student Services is able to provide you. We do have also a career program scholarship that is for students who are enrolling in non-transfer programs, so programs that are what we call career programs. So that would be maybe surge tech, that could be construction management, that would be business management, not business administration, but business management. That could also be students who are officially admitted into the nursing program, also. Could apply and get some support from the career program scholarship also. Those scholarships right now, that application will open in August for the scholarship for our MSS Career Program Scholarship, and is on the website also.
Thanks, Shianti. If anyone has any questions for Shianti about MSS or the PASS program, feel free to put your questions in the chat now. Jane just put in there about our summer and fall schedule being available, and that just made a light bulb go off in my head that our registration is open as of Monday for both summer and fall semesters. So now's the time to make your advising appointment, your ROAR appointment, so you can meet with that advisor to register with classes early to be able to make sure that you have the largest pool of classes to choose from as opposed to waiting on later in the summer. Okay, thank you again to Alyssa and Shianti for providing information on your areas and how you serve our students. We really appreciate it. If I could have our two students, Michael and Christina, pop back on the camera, we're going to ask them some questions and to talk a little bit about their FCC experience. So if anyone has any questions you would like to ask a current student as well, feel free to drop them in the chat and I can ask those questions. Okay, Michael, let's start with you. Again, Michael's a first year student, so this will be really relevant to where he was a year ago. Can you tell us what the biggest difference between high school and college is, and maybe what has been the biggest challenge being at FCC versus when you were in high school?
So for me, the biggest difference.
We can't hear you again.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, yeah, for high school, usually you have teachers that would get on you about your grade. They'll tell you what you're missing and help you with any classwork. But in college, it's your responsibility to check your grades because teachers don't have time to reach out to everyone saying, oh, you have a low grade or this or that, because now it's all on you. You have to make sure that you're doing your work. You have to make sure that you're completing everything and make sure that you're maintaining your grade. So it's more workload on you. You have to be more responsible.
Yeah, that's great advice. Christina, how about you? What's kind of been the biggest difference or some similarities or differences between high school and college?
For me, I definitely agree with Michael that you do have to be on top of your due dates and your grades yourself, because it's not your professor's responsibility to pull you aside and just tell you to get on top of your stuff like I feel like high school teachers kind of did. So you really just have to be responsible for yourself, and you just have to manage your time more. I honestly didn't really notice a difference when I was in dual enrollment because I did take a couple classes in high school. So I feel like being able to take dual enrollment my junior and senior year, it like helped me transition into college work because it was incorporated into my high school work.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We hear that from a lot of our DE students, just how it does help with that transition to kind of have an idea of what a college workload is like. Mm-hmm. All right, we had a question come in, and it is, how has learning during COVID challenged you as students? So I think this would be an interesting question for both of you to answer, but also Christina, since your first year you were on campus in normal operations, and then this past year you've switched to remote learning, and what has that been like? So let's start with you if you want to kind of do a comparison as your first year on campus normal, and now what the past year of virtual learning has been like for you.
Yeah. So honestly, at first it was kind of really hard just because I was getting used to learning online, which I feel like I'm kind of better in a classroom setting. But some of my professors were very helpful. So you just have to kind of get used to using Blackboard, because I feel like we kind of used it less on campus, but now that it's fully online, we have to rely on Blackboard and our Zoom classes. But I feel like as time goes on and you print out all your stuff, having a planner really helped me plan out my assignments, and making sure I have my syllabus available, it really helped me stay on top of everything I had.
Great. And Blackboard, for those who are wondering what Blackboard is kind of like the portal that students use for their classes, where you'll submit assignments and kind of work with your classes through that online Blackboard site. Michael, do you want to talk a little bit about your first year at FCC was solely remote learning, and what was that like for you, and what challenges did you come across during the pandemic?
Yeah, so it was really different for me because since it was my first year, I was coming out of high school. I was so used to being in the classroom. So like online, it took me some time to manage because you had to work on your own time. You had to make sure that you keep a schedule. Since you're home, you think you could like chill for a little bit, not do work for a while. But that you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to have a schedule because you could be like working on homework last minute and it's troubling. So for me, I had to get used to it. I had to make a schedule, had to work on different classes at certain times. And it was harder to get help from teachers because you're not in class, so you can't just ask like raise your hand, ask a question. So I had to email them. It took some time to get emails back, but yeah, I got used to it. So it was just a little harder, a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like there's a lot of self-motivation, and time management is really important, and taking some initiative to make sure you're successful. Thank you for that. Christina, someone asked, what advice would you have for upcoming dual enrollment students? So since you had mentioned you had taken some DE classes in high school, can you give some advice to some students who will be taking some DE classes and what to expect maybe?
So in high school, I know, at least for my school, we didn't really focus, like we would get syllabus or syllabi for each class, but you didn't really follow those in high school, and it wasn't really enforced, I feel like. But for FCC, you do get a syllabus that like you really need to pay attention to, because like during high school, I was like, I don't understand why we have to have this, but it really like all your due dates are on that, and like you do have to follow the syllabus and like the due dates, because I feel like high school was a little more flexible with that kind of stuff. Like they would be like, oh, it's due on this time, but they could like allow exceptions. But FCC's syllabus, you really have to make sure you're doing the due dates for those, because it's kind of set for that. And I would also make sure that you do have to have more motivation to like keep on top of what you're learning for that class, because it is kind of different from high school. You should probably take it a lot more serious. I feel like not many people take high school classes as serious, but it's kind of difficult if because my dual enrollment classes were in my high school, so it didn't really feel like I was going to campus and taking it at an actual college. So I would just say to definitely focus on your syllabus and to definitely study. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's great advice, Christina. Thank you. Michael, I had another question come in pertaining to setting your schedule and how you complete classwork and stuff. So how did you map out a schedule for doing work for your classes, and how long would you work or have homework for a particular class before you would move on to doing work for another class?
So what I did, so in high school I didn't have a planner, but for college I had to get a planner so I could write down what I'm gonna do for this class, what I'm gonna do for this other class. So usually for one class, I just spend about 2 hours to do one class so I could get most of that work done. I set it aside and maybe take a 30-minute break so you don't overwork yourself. And then I start on the other class for maybe about an hour or two. And that's how I go on throughout the day. And always take breaks in the middle so you don't overwork. But yeah, that's what really helped me.
Great. And maybe either of you can kind of touch on this, but the way most FCC classes are set up are on Mondays, Wednesdays, or Tuesday, Thursdays. So there's not many classes that are on Fridays. So the way you have classes are 2 days a week for a class. So then it's kind of up to you on how you want to balance out your schedule, whether you want to take 3 classes on one day or 2 classes and then 2 classes the next day to kind of balance out your credits. Does that kind of sound right, how you guys take classes Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday?
Yeah. I think you should definitely emphasize on managing your time for that, because that was something that was very difficult for me, because some of my classes, it would say that it's Monday and Wednesday, but none of my assignments were really due until Sunday. So sometimes it's really easy to procrastinate and wait till like Saturday or Sunday to do your work, but definitely think that you should schedule like your studying time and your actual like working on assignments on those days of the classes, even if it's not due, just so you don't procrastinate and have a bunch of workload due by Sunday.
Yeah, that's super smart. Okay, can each of you tell me what has been your favorite class at FCC so far and why? Michael, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so right now, my favorite has been chemistry at this point because the teachers are really helpful on that section. And also the labs are very fun and it was easy. And
Are you
also
going,
another favorite class.
are you going in person for your labs?
Excuse me?
Are you going in person for your labs?
Yes.
Great.
But our class are like split up. So we have about 24 people.
Mhm.
And either on Monday, it's only like 6 people go, and then Tuesday, 6 or 5. So like we have to split up because of COVID.
Right. Cool.
But yeah, another class I really like was engineering. Because engineering, like I like the whole section where we had to measure. We one time we had to make a car on a program. It's called, I think it was called Autodesk, where we actually had to animate a car, make the tires, make the pieces of metal, and put it together. So that class was really fun, and also measuring, and it took a lot of work to do, but it's interesting.
That's awesome. It sounds like you definitely like the hands-on class,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Cool. Christina, what has been your favorite class at FCC so far?
So my favorites surprisingly have been anatomy and physiology. If you're a pre-health major or am going to be one in the future, you have to take anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. And at first I was kind of scared to take those classes just because it's a lot of vocab and, you know, you have to learn about your body. So there's a bunch of different information. But the professor I have is amazing. She's my favorite at FCC. And she just provides a lot of extra credit, and a lot of the professors, they actually record their lectures, and you can tell that they put a lot of hard work into trying to make sure you understand the information that you need to learn about.
Awesome, thanks.
Mhm.
So let's ask one more question because we only have about 2.5 more minutes before we wrap up. So could each of you give a piece of advice to, again, high school students who are preparing to attend college either in the fall after they graduate or in another semester or two if we have some juniors or sophomores or underclassmen? So what piece of advice would you give to a high school student preparing for college? Christina, why don't you go first?
Okay. So I definitely think, like, I feel like we've said this a lot, is time management. You're gonna have a lot of classes, and if it is still strictly remote, you're gonna have to get used to kind of doing stuff online. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys are already having high school online, but to just, you know, manage your time. And there's a lot of opportunities at FCC to get into like clubs and like the honor society to meet new people. And I think that's a big thing. Like, you're going to enjoy your time more when you meet new friends and new people around you.
How about you, Michael? What advice would you have to prospective students looking at FCC?
So I agree with Christina. So I was gonna say, especially the time management. So make sure to always do your work on time, and make sure to always have a planner so you could set times for different work, and also get involved. So like you won't be stuck at home just doing work. Get involved. You could go outside, do some community work, join clubs, and that'll make you have a good time while all this COVID stuff is happening.
Yes, perfect. Well, thank you again, Michael and Christina, so much for being here and talking about your experience at FCC. Wish you guys the best for the rest of your semester too. So stick with it.
Yeah.
It's almost over, but thanks again, guys, for being here. And this concludes our high school information session this afternoon. Again, it is being recorded, so we will have it up on our website within 2 or 3 weeks probably, that you can come back and access any information that you want to learn more about. Please reach out if you have any questions. I know our information was put in the chat box, but to reach out to the admissions office, admissions@frederick.edu is our email address. And my personal email address is jsealy, SEALY @frederick.edu. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if we can help with anything in the future. I wish everybody the best and have a great afternoon. It looks like the sun's coming out, so try out and get out there and enjoy it. So thanks again, everyone. Have a good afternoon.